Hello everybody, my name is Elf itself and welcome back or welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit out of the ordinary for myself, and we're going to be tearing apart the guts of this Xbox and putting it into this amazing Halo one sitting right next to it. So, what you're going to need to do this is a T20 and a and a, where is my T10? T10. You know, you got your little boys right here. These are what you're mainly going to be using to tear apart this console. There's stuff like the T15 in order to pull the hard drive out, but that's not completely necessary for, just basic pulling apart of this. And then of course there's T8s and you can do a lot of things. And then I also recommend, depending on how deep you're pulling this apart, a spudger or whatever you want to call it, a little plier thing might help out. So what you're going to do is start by flipping the console over. So you got 6 screws on the bottom of this Xbox. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is where your T20 is going to shine. Just start by unbolting all 6 bolts. And let me start by stating I have no clue what I'm doing, but I've done a little bit of research on this and wanted to document my process here with you guys. In order to access these bolts under here, just you lift this up. The little spudger tool might be able to help you depending on how glued down these are. My goal is, I have behind me the feet that have the little screw holes in them to replace these with, but I don't have them printed in the right color right now, and I prefer to keep them looking good. Well, that just came off. You see why I'm replacing it? Good amount of you might already have that pulled off, because over time that kind of just falls off, especially if you're getting into this console constantly. We'll at least pretend that it's good. That one's on there good. That one's obviously been redone. And the final bolt. This is going to be probably one of the more easy steps. With all of these unbolted, you can set your T20 to the side and pull your bolts. Flip the console back over. Pull up on both sides of the console to release the clips, and boom. You are now inside the original Xbox. Go ahead, set that to the side. If you're reshelling it like I am, it's not really the biggest deal. I would start by unplugging the IDF cord, as this is going to be the most simple thing to get out of here. You can't unplug that bottom part yet, but now you have more room to really mess around with this. So just kind of pull that out of the way. I will say this is missing a lot of its bolts. I will be putting them back. I will be putting all the bolts in on this one. This one just was missing a bunch of them. I don't know why, but yeah, this is where your T10 is going to shine. Use your T10 to unbolt this bottom bolt and these bolts connecting. Yeah, these bolts in here connecting these plastic shrouds with the hard drive and the disk drive. I'm also going to be opening this up towards the end because I'm going to give it a little cleaning. So you should have one bolt here, one bolt here, one bolt back here, one here, 2 here, and then the one down here. I only have 3 of those bolts, and so that's going to be a lot easier process for me. If you don't have the magnetic bits for your screwdrivers, I'd suggest using pliers, but these magnets are lifesavers. So I'd recommend investing in some of those. But if you don't have pliers, we'll do the same job. Well, not pliers, tweezers, You know what I mean. And the final bolt in order to pull this out. Well, at least be able to pull this out. Now you gotta just disconnect this. I will be very careful when disconnecting everything. It does take a little bit of force because this has been on here for 20 plus years, and I think this one's only been taken apart besides myself like once. I've taken it apart once just to see the inside of it, see that it's missing bolts and all that. Because I just needed to confirm what motherboard it was. This job would be a lot easier with a pair of tweezers or something. Come out. There we go. Love and hate those things at the same time. Okay, now you gotta pull this little guy out of the back of this, which this is the real fun part. Unless you have a little plier like I do, apparently. I know it's a sin grabbing it by the wires, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Oh, my desk is falling apart. Okay, now you can pull out this entire, if you have it all unbolted, you can pull out this entire thing. And, oh yeah, you should have the power disconnected to the Xbox, by the way. The sticker reminded me to say that. This thing can kill you. It is not a joke to mess around with huge power supplies. Boom, there's your hard drive. I'm not going to unbolt this, but if you need to, T15's on the side right here. Where's my T15? T15's on the side. We'll pull this right on out. I'm just going to keep it in here because, this is the same kind of case. I did not mean to start streaming. Okay, hopefully that didn't mess up my recording. Okay. Set this gently to the side. You're going to need that later. Now go ahead, pull out your little DVD drive. Pull out the shroud with it too. I'm going to be pulling this front off and showing you how to replace that later on as well. And I don't know why this isn't sliding out of here. Oh yeah, no. This is clipped onto this side right here. Or this side, I should say. So you just pull that back and you can unrelease the clip. And there's your DVD drive. So I'm going to be opening this up later on. Once I have the rest of the Xbox together. And I'll show you how to do that. Because, these things need cleaning sometimes. A lot of your disc reading issues could just be related to this thing, in fact. Set that gently to the side. Now for the fun part. Just unplug things that are easy to pull out, like pull out your IDF cable, because, it's going to be easier to pull out your motherboard that way. So this is a 1.6 console. So, might be a little bit different if the other consoles. This one doesn't have the clock spring that's leaky and all that, thank God. Now for the fun part. We're going to start by, like I said, let me make it clear. This can kill you. Do not touch this. I'm making that really clear. In order to, I don't know what this whole whack job is down here. I don't think that's stock. So, it looks like this is also missing bolts. That's great. So, yeah, there's going to be a screw here. We're going to start by getting this out because, I don't like being near it. Also, so you're going to start by just pushing this clip down and pulling it up. Come on. The original Xbox is a hater. There we go. Now we can unbolt the power supply. Oh, this has not been taken out before. Oh my God. Some crisp bolts. I would try to, if you're not if you're reusing the same bolts, I would keep the bolts separated, just so you know what is what, even though they're all practically the same. So there's the bolt there, and the bolt here. There's some crunchy bolts. Obviously, these haven't been taken out in 20 years. Oh my lord. Where'd that screw go? Right here. Right here. No, right here. Okay, there we go. He's not the most magnetic. Okay. Let me see. Is there any other bolts? Nope. This should come right out. I'd lift this by the. This is one of the parts you can kind of just lift out by the cord. Make sure this power back here comes out, and boom. There's your extremely dangerous 120 volt thing. I'm glad it's not the 240s that they have in Europe, because this kind of scares me. Where can I set this down safely at? I'm just gonna roll back and put this on top of this right here, because I don't want to touch that on accident. That's just gonna be in the background. It is that serious. Okay. Now for the parts of like pulling out your little fan connector and unbolting. Just pull out the controller plugs or connectors, whatever you want to call them. Remember, these are 20-year-old wires, so you should be at least a tiny bit careful with them. 20-year-old wires seem to be scaring me a little bit, because I don't want to ruin this motherboard. How do these other guys on YouTube make this look so much easier? Maybe their consoles have actually been opened up in the last 20 years. Good thing I'm swapping that. Alright, now everything's unplugged. You can unbolt this motherboard. Oh. That is not straight, but it's working, so I'm not going to mess with it. Again, T10 should just pop out all these bolts. So there's one here, another one right here, another one right here. Also, while I'm in here, one way you can tell that this is a 1.6 motherboard, this little, where is it? Little media chip right here says Excalibur. That is a 1.6 motherboard exclusive, and the dates on the hard drive and the disk drive can also tell you that. Okay, unbolt this one up here at the top. And this one here in the corner. Now, if I'm correct, this should be everything I need. No, I gotta... is that... I don't know what I'm allowed to grab in here without coming off. Okay, this should just be these last two bolts right here. Or right here on this little part. These are all just basically the same bolts. They made this super easy. Now, if I'm correct, this should come out. Why are you... Oh, there's still another bolt. There's a hidden bolt right here between these two guys. Always triple check before you start yanking on things, guys. I get these things are a dime a dozen, but you still want to preserve your... Oh my god, how did I miss that one right there? Oh my god. You guys can tell I've never done this before. But I've, done my fair bit of research to make sure I'm not screwing this up. Okay, now that should be all the bolts. There we go. Lift this up and out. Might require a little bit of finagling to get it out of the case part. And boom. There is your Xbox's motherboard. You no longer need this case right here. Well, depends if you still need the fan or the controller ports and all that, or the power buttons, but I don't. If you do, then I suggest pulling those out as well. I might need this fan though. I don't know yet. Okay, set that down off to the side. Now it's time for the fun part. I'm gonna set this motherboard off to the side too, since I'm not using it directly in the moment. Where can I set this that's safe for a motherboard? Nowhere. Okay, I did not prep for this. We're just gonna set it right on top of the case. There we go. Now, grab your other Xbox. This one's already been torn apart, has nothing in it, and I already have the bolt out of the bottom. Here is the inside of a Halo Edition Xbox. There's nothing. Wow. So I have all my replacement bolts right here because, you know, you spruce this up a little bit, and we're just going to pull this out since I don't need it. Set that to the side. Now, for the fun part. I don't know why this is a different color, but, you know, it is what it is. Grab your motherboard. This is the motherboard you just saw. I would suggest, you know, maybe getting this a little clean off, but this was pretty clean whenever I pulled it out, so I'm trusting it. I would, if you need to, bend these clips a little bit. Kind of finagle this back in here. Oh yeah, there's cords. Annoying cords. And that should be in place, mostly. No, not really. Okay. Getting these ports through the holes seems to be my main issue right now. Hold up, chat. Need a little bit more finagling. Because believe it or not, you kind of need your bolt holes to line up, and these are not. Which is really confusing me. It's on something it's not supposed to be on, is it? Hold up. I'm gonna lift this up and out again because it seems to be giving me problems. Give me my motherboard back, buddy. Just seems to not want to be getting in there enough, so we're gonna do a quick on-the-fly little modification, as some people call it. Because I have a good feeling that what's giving me this issue are these little bendy guys. So we're just gonna say, screw you, bendy guys, and bend them more. now let's try that again. It's much easier whenever you don't have these cords in your way, but I am not pulling off those cords for no reason. There we go. Now my bolt holes line up. See guys, all it takes is a little finagling. Now for the fun part. Let me open my bag up right here. And this should have every single bolt that you could ever need for an original Xbox. I know it's not necessary, but I would like to just have a little bit of refurbishment while I'm here. Go ahead and rebolt every single... Oh. I rebolt. Hey, give me that back. But don't drop them into your Xbox. Did I drop that under the motherboard? Yeah, you gotta be kidding me. There we go. Magnetic for the win. Okay, anyways. You know, I'm just going to use the old ones for as much as I can and put some of those new ones in the missing holes. Because those new ones don't seem to be as good as these old ones for some reason. Now let's just bolt this motherboard back in real quick. Make sure my fan still plugs in, even though it's for some reason a different color connector. Seems to be working still. Let's just hope. If I turn this on at the end and it somehow doesn't work, I'm gonna be very upset. I'll say that much. Now, while you have this open, it is a good idea to maybe upgrade the hard drive, or, you know, if you have an older Xbox like 1.0, pull out that stupid clock capacitor that leaks everywhere. But put it simply, that is something for me to do off camera and later down the line whenever I'm not broke and buy, because I just bought a PS2 as well, so make sure you put all your bolts back in and you're not missing any, because that will be very awkward if you are. That should be all. Because if I'm correct, it takes two. It only takes 2 pulls to hold in this power supply. Where are you two from? Oh, from right here. Remember to screw back in this port. You know, it's kind of important because that's your display port, so. Okay. Now plug back in these. This one goes right here. Line up the pins, kind of push that back in, and boom. Now this one goes right here. Same deal. and then this one goes right here. Make sure your fan's plugged back in so your Xbox doesn't overheat and explode. And turn around and re-grab your power supply, because you kind of need that. This thing still is really scary. Mine should be discharged enough where I could touch it, but theoretically I don't really want to. Make sure you put your port right back out there, and make sure all the bolt holes are in place. Grab your T10 again. Don't accidentally grab a T8. That's for the hard drive. And bolt it back in the 2 bolt holes. Or at least what I'm assuming is 2, considering there is no other ones on here. But I don't know if my console was just missing the screw. Most of these holes are outlined with circles though, so I feel like if I was missing one, it'd be pretty obvious. Because it doesn't look like, crap, don't trap my bolts. Doesn't look like one's missing right here. See if I can even get a bolt in there. You know, there's no bolt that goes there. Okay, give me my screw back. Give me my screw back. Do not do this while the hard drive's in, right, guys? Do not shake the console with the hard drive. That is one way you get a very, very unhappy hard drive. Oh, what did I just click in my my OBS? Okay. You know, give me one of my strong ones. We'll pull this right back out. Yo, give me back my bolt. I'm sorry for experimenting. It's the worst tutorial I've ever done in my life. Don't make me go get pliers. I'm going to be very upset if I have to go get tweezers or pliers. You know what? I'm just going to pull the power supply back out real quick. If you're an idiot like me, you don't have to do this, but it seems like I'm not the smartest person in the world. I'm not qualified to do this. That's why you bolt things down before plugging them in. So just in case you need to unbolt them, it's relatively easy. This does seem to be missing the one big part right here, but that might be on the older versions. Don't be an idiot like me and put bolts where they're not supposed to go. Hopefully that did not cause any real damage, because that could be bad. These things are really delicate considering they're 20 years old. Anyways. For the final time, put this back in place. Well, at least hopefully final time. Unless I'm become more of an idiot over the next few minutes. Rebolt it down for the second time. Okay. Plug your power supply back in. And boom. Now we're just going to set this right here real quick, because my next thing is going to be, now it's time to put this back in. So what we're going to do is just kind of set this off to the side right here, and I'm going to show you how to pull apart this, pull off the front for fascia right here, and kind of just
clean up a little bit, because you know these things after 20 years they don't really disc as well, and it could be for a multitude of reasons. So it's easy just to do preventative maintenance than get mad at yourself down the line because you didn't do anything about it. So we're just gonna set this down right here. This might be backwards. Is it backwards? Am I stupid? I'm not stupid, no. Just it's lower than I remember. Anyways, flip this over. Actually, no, we're just gonna pull this off real quick. So, from what I've seen, you just push this up. It's gonna feel like only bad part is it's gonna feel like you're breaking it, but you're not. You don't have to be as gentle with these things as it seems. Hold up, I'm gonna re-look at this little thing real quick, because I am a little bit scared to break this.
Bezel on the original Xbox DVD drive. This is a skeleton. You don't have to be as careful as you think you do. So the main thing you gotta look at is these two tabs right here. This tab and this tab right here.
Yeah, these two tabs.
Okay. You're gonna pull this thing out and then push it up. You're gonna have to manhandle it, and you're gonna think you're gonna snap it off, but it's not gonna happen. Okay, look. This is one hand.
I in fact snapped it off.
Out and then up. See, with that noise, you thought it broke, and it didn't.
Because it did break.
Like
okay, so be a little bit more gentle than that.
Put it back
apparently. On. Okay. Anyways, we'll fix that on the inside of the thing. Grab your Phillips head screwdriver and open it up. I'll just push that out and get those clips out. I did want to kind of save that, but I guess that's not happening because I'm an idiot. Now pull your DVD drive apart. Shows you how qualified I am to pull one of these apart if I just snap parts off of it. I just undid the bottom. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep the bottom. Crap. Hold up. I want the top, not the bottom. You can keep the bottom disk drive. I just want the top. Okay, boom. Here is your Xbox's disk drive. Whoa, yeah, so cool. Yeah. So, set your lid for this off to the side, and boom. This little lens right here is what reads your games, and that's what can typically kind of mess up over the years. And same thing with this rubber band down here. Mine looks to be replaced, which is a little bit strange, honestly, if you ask me. It might give this power just so I can open this up and knock those tabs out. I am quite upset. I'm quite upset about it. But that could just be my Xbox or me screwing up. So, yeah. Okay, anyways, let's do the little cleaning real quick. So, I do recommend 99% isopropyl alcohol, but I have 70% right here. So, we're just going to go with 70%. Grab yourself a Q-tip and your isopropyl alcohol. Do not go any lower than 70%. I am warning you. And if you're using 70% like I am, do not use a lot of it. Just enough to get on the lens and kind of just give it a nice little touch of alcohol. Yeah, just a little dabble of alcohol. because, you know, you want this to be reading games. Anyways, set that to the side now. I am going to just put the cover back on this real quick and give it power so I can fix that little issue I just caused. Because, you know, that's not a good thing what I did. Okay, flip this back over, insert the 4 bolts. Oh, no, this was the Phillips. Okay, no, I'm stupid. A lot of the parts from the original Xbox just seem to be off-the-shelf stuff, like this DVD drive. So, I feel like that's why it's Phillips and not same thing everything else is with your Torx bits. I'll give this power once everything else is installed, and then we'll do it from there because it's easier to put this in, you know. Okay. Now back to what we were doing. Get your hard drive ready again because, you know, you're going to need that soon. Set your disk drive back into your Xbox. Preferably with the bezel on, but, you know, some of us aren't the smartest in the world. Make sure that's down in there. Sitting flush. And plug. Hold up. Oh, okay, I almost just forgot a huge step that would have made me have to redo half of this. Pull this back out. I know, I'm so smart, guys. Your IDF cable. This should still have the bends in it. It's not like you took it out that long ago. You could go ahead and upgrade this while you're in here because I know the community has a lot that have already been tested that work on the Xbox, but simply I did not have the time to order one before I decided to pull this apart. We got the F cable and all that back, and set this back down in here. Pretty fairly easy and simple as long as you put it in the right spots. That is not the right spot because that's not going down. There we go. There we go. Plug in your DVD drive. I do like getting a look at things as I plug them in. I know, guys. It's such a evil thing to do. Plug that back in. Plug this end of your IDF cable in. And now it's time to put back in the favorite part, the hard drive. All your wires should still be cleanly organized, so I just slide these back into the hard drive case. And set that in place. Hold up, I think one of these, okay, hold up, there we go. You know, they say don't be afraid to manhandle these things. I am very afraid to manhandle this thing. Plug that back in. And plug this back And boom. Well, once you get this plugged back in. Boom. Now you have your Xbox. Well, if you run in... Okay, hold up. Let me run these wires how they're supposed to be ran. Just so things don't catch on fire, you know? We prefer a fireless console. Boom. Hold up. Hello, are you gonna go in? There we go. Oh, there you go. Now you have your Xbox. I am then, we got bolt all this stuff down real quick. I need these bolts. Again, try to use as much as the original as I can. There's this hole down here. This other hole down here. I don't know if it's a hole. I don't know if that's a bolt or not. Of course, these middle bolts. Which that does not feel like it's spinning. I might be stupid. That is 100% not spinning, bro. Hold up. Hold on, this is really only held in by 3 screws. I was just an idiot. Okay. Never mind, guys. Okay, and then you just put the top on like normal. I am just going to go turn this on, make sure everything's working, and then I'll do that. But I hope this was a interesting video at least. There were some minor casualties in the filming of this, sadly, but we have a better replacement. So I'm gonna go turn this on, make sure that works, fix this, and I hope you guys have a good night. Bye bye.